Welcome to this episode of Big Mistakes in Real Estate. I am the host of the show, Isaac Ocean, coming in with today's topic, open houses. How to milk this free cow of just leads and how to actually make it work. How to get good leads, how to run a great open house, and how to set it up as a follow-up so that you don't have to do literally anything afterwards. So here, let's check it out right after this.
Everyone makes mistakes, but these mistakes can cost you thousands in commission. Are you a real estate agent? Then listen up and learn from the Big Mistakes in Real Estate podcast with your host, Isaac Ocean.
I am the host of the show, Isaac Ocean, and welcome back to this episode, because this episode is going to be awesome. If you have any questions about open houses or how to run an amazing, efficient, effective open house, then you are in the right place. So let's start right here at the very top. I'm going to actually start with what the public thinks an open house is. The reason I'm going to talk about this is because whenever you're getting a listing and you want to have an open house at that listing because it might be in your farm, the public thinks that you're doing an open house because you are going to sell their house by doing an open house. This couldn't be further from the actual truth. Normally, like 99.9% of open houses will never show the actual home that an open house does. What an open house is for real estate agents is basically dangling the carrot that your buyers are looking for. So whenever you put out there that you have an open house, and you want somebody to come there who is a buyer, that's the carrot. They show up at the door because they're looking actively for homes in that area to buy. Now, do you always get those buyers? No, you get a lot of nosy neighbors, and we'll get to that here in just a little bit. So the public thinks that you're doing an open house to sell their house, but in reality, that doesn't really happen. You're doing it to get more clients from that listing you have. Now, one thing that I didn't understand when I was new to real estate was the fact that you can do an open house literally on anybody's listing as long as you have their blessing. Like, you need to get some sort of writing that, yes, indeed, you can go over here and do an open house. So who are open houses for? All right, this is gonna kind of... if you're considering a bunch of different ways to advertise, who the open house is for is very important, because not every real estate agent has to do open houses. Not every person who's successful in real estate does open houses, but a lot of people who are successful do open houses. And here's why. Once you set yourself up to do open houses, they're almost free advertising that you can do to actively find people in your market. It's a brilliant way to advertise as long as you have the time and dedication to do it right. It is an amazingly effective system. So open houses, in my opinion, especially newer real estate agents, you're going to want to hit open houses, not only just so you know how to run one and an effective one, you're going to want to dominate your area, or what they call in real estate, your farm. So it'll be a little section. Maybe it's a neighborhood. Maybe it's just one street. Maybe it's a whole city that's your farm. Well, whenever you do open houses, I recommend that you only do open houses in your farm. Because if you're going to do them, you just want to cultivate that one area to kind of be yours. Because if you're spread too thin, nobody's going to know who you are. And that's not kind of the point. So this open houses are specifically, in my opinion, are specifically for new real estate agents who don't have a lot of money to advertise. Thus, they have to utilize their time instead of their bank account to find leads. So if you are strapped for cash, this is 100% the way you should go. This stuff is awesome and it does work. So that's who should be using for an open house. And some people do this as like their career. They do an open house literally every single day, 7 days a week. And that's how they started, that's how they built up their buyer list and became really familiar in their neighborhood. It's a pretty brilliant way to get name recognition. So there are 3 steps to an epic open house, okay? First, they need to know that there is an open house. So I'm going to call this advertising. Number 2, you need to wow them when they walk through the door, and then you need to make sure that you collect their first name, bare minimum, and phone number or email. Then third, you need to have your follow-up almost on autopilot. So we're going to go over every step. This is going to be super thorough. So if you want a really detailed guide on open houses, baby, this is it right here. And the show notes and all this stuff will be in the show notes below. So if you just want to listen and not take notes, you can just check out the show notes and copy and paste if you want to. It's a really quick guide. Here we go. So how much is it going to cost to throw an open house? Okay, I'm not going insane with my open houses. I've heard of open houses costing $5,000, and like, I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. That's cool. iPad giveaways. Like, I'm just not going to do it personally. Maybe that's for you. I left the iPads out of the actual price of what I came up with. So here's the thing. We're going to need a lot of signs. You know, those open house signs. You can go super generic if you want to go cheap. You could also, and here's a pro tip, you can ask your broker for open house signs. Now, typically in my experience, my brokers gave me like 5. If you put up 5 open house signs, expect exactly 0 people to walk through the door. I'm going to say this one more time so that you guys can really understand this. If you put out 5 open house signs and you think people are going to show up, you are insane. It's not, I don't know what your personal experience was, but here in South Florida, if you put out 5 signs, nobody's showing up. So we want to put on the higher end of signs, and I'm talking 30, guys, and you're going to think I'm insane, but hear me out. Look, the way that I do it, I really like people to get their eye attracted to my open house sign. And I'll have another YouTube video later because I'll show you guys my actual open house signs. They say Isaac, Ocean, my broker name, open house. Because I want people to associate my name with the open house. I don't want to just have a generic open house with Keller Williams or open house with Century 21. Where's my name recognition in that? I'm doing this to advertise, not just for people who are actively seeking to buy a house today. I'm doing this for name recognition down the line for years to come. Every Saturday and every Sunday, if they see my open house sign pop up, Isaac Ocean, open house, with my broker name on it, it's advertising, but it's free advertising. So you get to advertise for free with put 30 of these bad boys out, and you're going to be like, dude, that's a whole lot. Let me tell you, it is not. I used to put out 10 of these things, and that was it. Well, if you put it on every stop sign at an intersection, or if you put 2 or 3 in the yard of the actual open house, so when people are driving through and they see this house that has 3 of these signs that they saw all around, they know specifically which house it is. It makes it very easy to find. Or you can get these big banner flags or whatever. My point is that you need to be seen everywhere that you can possibly imagine to get your buyers. And also, equally as important in my book, is long-term, making sure that the people in the neighborhood know who you are and seeing your name every weekend, having that consistency. And all of a sudden, you're not getting buyers, you're getting the sellers. And the sellers are what we ultimately, as real estate agents, should be after. So I'm going to talk 30 signs out there. All right. And each sign is not cheap. It's $15 for each sign. So right there, we're at $450. And guys, you are going to have to spend a little money to be in real estate, but don't let this budget part turn you off. I'm telling you how I do it and how I run my open houses, and then you can do whatever you feels right. Just make it work. Don't use excuses. Go to your broker, ask for the open house sign. Go to your other real estate friends, ask for some open house signs. If you're broke, I've been there. I know what it's like. Beg, borrow, and perform. So here we go. Mints and water. All right, this is super cheap, super obvious, but the waters I have are special open house and have a special designation. So anybody that takes my water gets my first name, my last name, my phone number, my email, and all that other good stuff. So that's like $25. Okay. Then you have swag, you have your pens, your bags, your little, you want some stands for maybe some displays for various things. So I'm going to say $50. Then if somebody told you when you got your real estate license, all you were going to do is real estate, they lied. They lied to your face. I'm going to need you to bring some cleaning products because seriously, what you think is clean is not what the client thinks is clean. So like when you have this, I told the client to clean up and it's going to be so pretty and so great and blah, 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 blah. The client heard pick up my laundry. That was it. That was all they did. So there's dirt and there's grime and there's stains and you might want to just bring a small little cleaning kit with you for the open house because you're going to have people walking through and those people walking through are going to think that's a representation of you, my friend. So keep it in mind. Now, the good news is here, this does take about 6 man-hours to run one good house, good open house, at least the first time. Then the next time you run that open house, it should take about 3 hours. So a good open house takes a while to do the prep work for, but once it's done, you can kind of continue to use the same prep work that you did. So I'm going to say to run a great open house with your custom signs, and I will throw some pictures in here at some point for the way that I run my open houses, and I'll show you my little display. I personally pride myself on this. I think it is the nicest open house I've been to. The reason is it's the nicest open house I've been to because I went to a whole bunch and I cherry picked, me and my woman cherry picked every single thing that we liked from the different open houses and combined them into ours. And that was pretty much what you're getting here, actually. So here we go. I told you that you can make this work very cheaply, almost free. Ask your broker, ask other real estate agents because they want to be on board. And here is another pro tip. Do not do open houses by yourself. You always want to have somebody else with you. Not only is it for protection, but if somebody's out putting up signs around the home and somebody sees that sign and shows up at the home and knock, 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 I'm a buyer and I want to see it, but you're out putting signs up and nobody else is there, you just lost a buyer. But you could have prevented that entire thing had there been another real estate agent already at that open house waiting for those people. So always, 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 in my opinion, work with another real estate agent. It makes it a heck of a lot more fun too, because it's really boring sometimes. So step one is to advertise. So how are we going to let people know that there is an open house coming this weekend and that they should be there? So first of all, I print 100 postcards from my broker. Each broker is a little bit different. My broker lets me print for free as long as it's not like an insane amount of printing. So I print off 100 of them. I have to hand cut them myself at the office. I hand cut each piece of paper can make 4 postcard sized open house postcards that I cut. So I make 100 of those. After that, I make sure that I put the MLS listing online because there's a spot that you can go to set up an open house for an open house in your MLS. It's very important that you put that on there. If you wonder where Zillow, Trulia, and all of those guys are finding the open houses that regular people are going to, it's because the real estate agent put it on the MLS. You know, they don't have to go individually to all of these places and put it in. You just have to do it in one spot, the MLS. Make sure you put it there. So after that, I ask other agents in my area to show up. Okay, here's a tip, okay? Not everybody knows as many real estate agents as you do. So here's the thing. If you ever showed up at an open house and literally there was no cars, you pulled up there and you're like, I know there's signs and stuff here, but like, is this the right place? I'm getting really scared. Am I the only person coming in? That's really what happens. I've been there. I've experienced it. So here, check it out. This was a really cool tip I got from another real estate agent. Park your cars in the front. Other people will tell you to not do this, but park your cars in the front of the home. Even if you're blocking the entrance, like the walkway, Park it in front because it's going to look like there are people in the house. You want people when they pull up go, holy crap, why is there so many people here? Think about that. Think about the difference and mentality of one person showing up and wondering if they're in the right place, and the other person's mentality showing up and going, holy crap, this house must be awesome. Look at all the people here. Even if they walk in and there's only 2 people there and they're both realtors, guess what? They still have that mentality when they walked in there. Park your cars out front to make it look like it's a lot more popular than it is. I know it's a little tricky, but hey, it works. It actually works. So then I make some personal phone calls. Like, I actually just try to get people, anybody, into the house, because it can just sometimes be something for somebody on a Saturday to do with like their spouse or somebody that they like, and they're not even interested in it at all. But the person they brought is interested in buying, selling, renting, or investing in real estate. And that's what I'm looking for. So literally let everybody know. Go on Facebook. You're going to go on the MLS. You're going to print off the 100 postcards. Oh, and then what do I do with the postcards? Because I don't just put a mailer on it and mail it out. Now, again, if you have the money to do that sort of advertising, I would recommend that you do. Any advertising you do will never hurt you. So if you just figure out a way to either mail the postcards, or you could do what I personally do in my farm, and that's walk down the street, knock on each door, knock, 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 and personally invite them to my open house. This is amazing. You don't ask for anything. You don't say, can I RSVP you? You don't say anything. I knock on the door, they answer. And by the way, I stand like 5 feet back from the door, but I grew up in sales doing door-to-door marketing for ADT, so this was in my wheelhouse. So I stand about 5 feet back. They answer the door. They say, hey, can I help you? Like, yeah, I'm actually having an open house down the street at 1 p.m. to 3 a.m. or 3 p.m. this Saturday, and we're inviting only the neighbors for this open house. So we would love to see you there, and here's my flyer. And that's it. Have a good day. That's it. Don't try to sell and sell and sell. I see real estate agents who do open houses, and the first thing they're just like laser beamed in, like, will you buy? Will you buy from me right now? Please, 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 please. It's like, it's crazy. Offer some value before you go for the sale. And by the way, think about this. And I've done a ton of open houses in this one neighborhood in particular. So when I'm walking down and I have to hit that house again a couple weeks later because I'm doing another open house on that same street and I'm hitting the neighbors again, think he remembers me? Handlebar mustache, real estate agent, knocking door to door to door, leaving a postcard for an open house for my client. Who do you think is going to be his real estate agent number 1 very quickly? Me. It's just me. Just because I'm offering the value, I'm showing and demonstrating that I'm not a real estate agent who just disappears. I'm actively working for my clients. And the whole neighborhood gets to see it, which is pretty freaking awesome. So guys, I hope you're listening up with here, because there is a ton more to come right after this.
Are you learning? Good, because that's the point. But do me a favor. Subscribe if you have not already. And if you're feeling really frisky, give me a review on your favorite podcast player. Now back to the show.
And for real, guys, those podcast player reviews really do help. Whether you find me on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, or your favorite podcast player, pull it out of your pocket. Spend the 30 seconds just to give me an awesome review, or even a crappy review. A review is a review. You do you, whatever you feel is right. But it would mean the world to me. And if you are on YouTube, we are going for 53 likes. That's right, 53 likes. If you see that number below you and it doesn't say 53, do me a favor, smash that bad boy. All right, so now I call this next phase time to sign. Sometimes it means time to shine, but I put the sign right there because I have a kid and I'm making dad jokes. Anyway. So time to sign. So you put out 30 signs like I was telling you. Okay, Here is a huge pro tip. I told you these bad boys are $15 every single one. If you lose one, you just lost $15. If you lose 10, you just lost 150. That's how multiplication works. But use a map. Like an old school, pull out before you even get into your car to go do the open house. Get a map on Google Maps, on whatever, and then Google the neighborhood that you're at. Print out just the area of the map with a red pen. Mark where you're going to put your signs and how you're going to get there. Trust and believe this will save you so much time and money, because you will not lose the signs. Because after you walk through a neighborhood and handing out postcards and put out 30 of these signs, run a 2-hour open house, set up all your follow-ups, break down and have to go get your signs hours later, you will forget. Personal experience. So make sure you pull out a map, mark all the signs where they're at. And the coolest part about this is if you do it that way, even if you have to run after the open house, you can be like, hey, remember how I told you to be with a partner when you do one of these? You could say, hey, Mr. Partner, my real estate agent buddy, can you take this map and go pick up all these signs and I'll meet you in the office on Monday? And they'll be like, yeah, because that's what efficiency is. This will become a problem in your life if you start putting out 30 signs. You will lose a ton unless you do it this way. So someone always stays at the open house the entire time. So 1 hour before the open house, you should start putting out these 30 signs. It should take you about an hour to put out 30 signs, one every 2 minutes. So this does get way easier over time, especially if you're doing this the way that I suggest it, which is to do your open house only in the areas you plan on being your farm. That way you learn the areas. The signs will go in the same exact intersections. You know where to put them. You'll put them in the same place every single week, and this will go so much faster once you just grease the gears a little bit and you do this a couple times. A pro tip is whenever you're putting out your signs, or at a bare minimum, the signs in front of the open house, but preferably every sign should have this. All 30 of these signs should have a balloon or something like a flyer, like that little thing that rotates on the top of the open house sign to attract the eye. That is proven to work. That is no joke. Just putting a bunch of signs out there, our eye will just bleed it out. But for whatever reason, a moving yellow, red balloon will just do wonders. I don't know why, but it works. Okay, so that brings me to the front of your open house. You need to have a super obvious, this is an open house. There are gigantic open house signs that are 12 feet tall, 7 feet tall, 5 feet tall, 3 feet tall you can get. And I recommend you get some of them. No one should ever ask the question, is this an open house? If they do, you did it absolutely wrong. Everybody should know when it is, what time it is, everything should just be nice and easy for your clients. So your partner should, while you're putting out signs, you're putting out these 30 signs, your partner should be bringing in the trash can, the tablecloth, if it's needed. If it's an already furnished place, most of the times you can set up your little display inside of the kitchen at the open house. I have had situations where I've had to bring my own tablecloth and my own table in a vacant home. So just be aware, is it a vacant place, or are you going to need to bring a table and some chairs? Because honestly, sometimes you want to sit in an open house. Other people will yell at you if you sit in an open house, but I understand you're a human being and you're busting your chops. And if nobody's coming in for 45 minutes, sometimes it's nice to sit. I ain't gonna lie. So bring all of that stuff, because it's kind of nice to have. And the trash can especially, because if they don't have a trash can, or if they don't have trash bags, or whatever reason, you want to make sure that your footprint in their home is as small as possible. You want their home to look better than when you walked in it, or you won't again, okay? So keep that in mind. It makes you look like a professional when you don't cause anybody else any issues from what you're trying to do with your open house. So don't leave your garbage and everything else there. Just bring a garbage bag. So the other thing that your partner should be setting up is the sign-in sheet. Now, most people are old school. Just print off a sign-in sheet. just like this piece of paper, give it to your client and they'll fill it out. This is 100% the wrong way to do it. Absolutely not. Look, if you have to, you can use a pen and a piece of paper with a sign-in sheet for your open house. However, and this is a pro tip because I made this mistake on my first couple open houses, you never, ever, ever let the client sign their first name, their last name, or anything. You don't even give them the pen because for whatever reason, clients have a lot harder time lying straight to you verbally than they do on a piece of paper, just writing whatever they want. So you take the piece of paper and you say, "Hey, welcome to the open house. I'm Isaac Ocean. I'm the realtor. Can I get your first name?" Perfect. Can I get your last name? Oh, and how do you spell that? Ricardo? Is that Ricardo with a Z? There's no Z in Ricardo. You're just checking to see if they're alive. See what I'm doing here, people? So then they give you the phone number. And here's another pro tip. So say the phone number is 555-555-5555. Okay? Here, you want to know if you got the right number or not, and this is a legit lead. You read them the number back. You say, "Okay, Mr. Ricardo, I have your first name as Roger Ricardo. Your phone number is 555-555-5554. And then just look at them and wait. If they correct you, you probably have a pretty good lead there because that wasn't the number he gave you. It's just a test to see if they were giving you false information or not. Because if he gave you a wrong number, he's not going to remember the number that he gave you. If you give him the wrong one, he's not going to think about it. But if he did give you the wrong one and he corrects you, then you have a solid lead. Or if he gave you the real one, you have a solid lead. So keep those both in mind. Those are little pro tips. So make sure it's clean. Make sure pets in particular, bring a little small cleaning kit. You're also going to want to bring some, one of those scented, Glade plugins that you can plug into the wall. Some people absolutely hate those things. So run any smells you decide to do in an open house with the seller and make sure that smell is okay. Because some people really have allergies, and that's no joke. Again, personal experience. So on to when they walk in. Okay. Now, when they walk in, I told you, you should be the one who collects their first name, their last name, and their email. The real simple way to do this is to have like an iPad type of deal. If you have an iPad, you can hook it up to a landing page with what we talked about in one of the previous episodes, a CRM called Wise Agent. You can hook this, guys, listen up, because this is how you next level your business. This is called leverage. This thing is awesome. Okay. So you have your little iPad and you say, "Okay, Mr. Customer, this is where you can literally hand them the iPad and have them sign in because their handwriting won't matter because they will be typing their name, their first name, last name, email. So if you have Wise Agent set up as a landing page for this open house and you hand somebody an iPad to sign in, man, you are already looking way more professional than any other real estate agent in your area right now. It's just the truth because most people are archaic. They're back in the pen and piece of paper. And this is how you lose all your leads that you just worked hours and hours for in an open house. This is how you lose it, on a piece of paper. So the smart real estate agents, what they do is they take the iPad and the Wise Agent or whatever CRM you decide to use. And when they enter in the information from the open house, it automatically goes into a drip campaign specifically for open houses that you can set up. Guys, this is insanity. You can set up this open house portal forever. You don't even need to set it up per property. You could just literally set up an open house landing page that you just collect information from them immediately right from that landing page. And you don't have a pen and piece of paper or pad, and you don't have to worry about losing anything. And then on top of that, it automatically goes on a drip campaign that you personally either handpicked or you can choose from the pre-made templates on Wise Agent to set them up. So you are constantly in front of them every 3 days, every week, however long you set it up for, but it's brilliant. You're not having to constantly make those phone calls. It's kind of done for you. So that's the first impression that you should make whenever somebody walks through there. So the next thing that I want to know, and I want to know, are you a neighbor or are you looking to buy? Typically, if you are a neighbor, you won't be looking to buy, but you just wanted to see the inside of the house, and you've always wanted to see the inside of the house, and you knew the family that lived there, blah blah blah. You're just more curious than anything. But if you say you're not a neighbor and you are looking to buy and your arms are crossed, to me that's an amazing sign, because you're defensive because you're buying what I'm selling and you don't trust me yet. Other real estate agents might tell you very different, but if that person has their arms crossed and they say they're a buyer, they want you to wow them, and you will wow them. Well, let me say this. You will continue to wow them while walking through the house. Sell the house, but not too hard. Okay, you should know the age of the roof. You should know the age of the AC. You should know what the floors are made of. You should know basic facts about this house that people are going to ask. You don't want to sound like you're not educated, especially if it's not your listing. And you're in your target market. You need to put in a little bit of effort into each open house so that you understand what you're selling. Because if you don't understand that, no one's going to buy from you. So everyone, I want to talk about this. We're going to go back just about 5 seconds. I want everyone to sign into my open house. There is not one soul who has ever not signed into my open house. And it's not because I'm a jerk. It's because I'm matter of fact. Hey guys, what's your first name? It's that simple. And if they've ever been to an open house, which almost everybody has, they just give you the information. It's not a big deal. And if they do make a big deal about it, which I've never had happen, I would simply say it's for the protection of my client. My client asks that I know the first name and the last name in the email for any client that comes in here for their own protection. And that's it. And that's all you have to leave. And you could say, sir, if this is too far or too much to ask, feel free to check out the photos online, or, you can schedule a showing with me later. Give them a car and bid them a good day, but you're not walking through my house unless you sign my sheet. You have to have it in your mentality, I guess. I've never had a problem with this, but this is constantly a problem for other real estate agents. I don't know. It's not that hard. Just get it signed. So let's see here. Next part. So use the wise agent, set up everything, show the house in a way that shows you're knowledgeable about the house, that you're a knowledgeable real estate agent, and that you know the neighborhood you are trying to farm. You need to have an education beyond the standard homeowner. You're a real estate professional, so kind of wow them with facts about the house and facts about where they live or where they're planning on moving. So this is where most people lose the leads. They just say, and the people are like, okay, well, that's not good for me. And you're like, okay, here you go. Here's my card. And then they walk out, and then most people don't even call them or do anything after that. So this is where the difference between people that make money and people that are kind of turning their gears a whole lot. Right here's where the money's made. This was something this was my big mistake in real estate, was screwing this part up right here and not understanding why to do it. If that home is not right for them, and we already learned that 99.9% of open houses do not sell that house, so the chances of that home being right for any buyer is very slim. We know when they walk in this house, chances are it's not right for them. So we ask them, is this house right for you? Chances are they're going to say no. And if you let it die right there, that's it. However, if you're ready, if you did your prep work, this is where you make the money. You say, oh, well, actually, I had a little bit of time before this open house, and I went and pulled the comparables for the homes that are also for sale to compare against this one to make sure this one was priced right. Let's go take a look at these real quick. You pull out your binder and you show them 3, 4, 5, 6 comparables that are very similar to the property they're in right now. You say, look, these are the comparables. Do any of these fit what you're looking for? Okay, cool. And then what you want to do is leave that open house and go straight to another showing that you set up with them right then. That's another reason why you want to have your partner, and another reason why you want to do the map is so that whenever you have this happen, because strike while the iron's hot, this person is out looking, they're ready, they're active, they're putting in the effort. So you do too. And then you can just go to your partner and say, hey, here's my map. Go pick up all the signs, close down this open house. I'm going to go take care of this showing right now. Bam. That's how you guys work together and use each other as leverage to get to the next level. And you guys can both help each out a whole lot doing that all day long. So whenever you're showing them comparables, you should also, if they're starting to show interest, you want to confirm, always confirm that you have the best info for these people. Sometimes when they walk into an open house, they will give you their business email. So if you see like Jared at dollargeneral.com, ask him, say, hey man, I know that is your business email, but I need to make sure I get in contact with you, especially on the weekends and some late nights too. That's the way it is. What's your best personal email at? Then they will give you the actual email that they use all the time. That's the good one. So, and then as soon as they walk out, if you don't have a showing immediately after your open house, and as soon as your new client walks out, go ahead and like them on Facebook. Send them a friend request. Hey, it was great seeing you. Send them a message on Facebook. Open up some sort of dialogue and just see where it goes, because this is where the money's made, is just getting all of these leads, collecting them, nurturing them through an email drip campaign. Guys, this is the way to the promised land. I hope that this was super helpful to all of you guys. I tried to make this as comprehensive as possible to make sure you guys can get a leg up over on the other people. I've put a whole lot of work into doing these open houses. I've went to a lot of seminars, in person, read books, audiobooks, podcasts, YouTube channel to get where I'm at now. And this information really does work. If you actually put in the effort, it will work. So guys, I'm going to hit up on the next episode of Big Mistakes in Real Estate.
On the next episode of Big Mistakes in Real Estate,
we are going over one of the biggest mistakes anyone in real estate could ever make. We are talking with a man who literally lost his real estate license, got it pulled. Yes, sir. And lost almost $4.5 million in commission. We are going to be bringing the heat next week. And guys, do not forget that we come out with new episodes every single Monday at 4 p.m. I can't wait to see you guys there. Don't forget to find us on Facebook. Don't forget to find us on YouTube. Smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. I love you guys, and I can't wait to talk to you next week. See you until then.